What is going on, everybody? It is Nick or Silentz here, and today I'm actually going to be starting this video off with some bad news. Unfortunately, when I recorded the video a few days ago, the file got corrupted, and I'm really upset about that because we actually built the hotel, and I was actually giving a lot of tips and tricks. I was giving my thought process of why I was doing what I was doing for the build. So this video we're actually going to start off with giving you guys a tour of what has happened since, I'm not the only one who plays on this world. My friends do a lot of stuff. And also I need to show you the stuff that happened with the hotel and a few more builds here and there. So let's get into it. So if we come down the main stairs here, you may see a few more builds right here that were not in the world tour video. We're going to start off with this small one here. This is actually an armor store. Obviously, I'm still working on the inside, but we have a few armor stands with, gold, leather, and iron armor. And maybe we can get a villager in here to trade with eventually when we get that going. And then if we were to come down here, this is the main thing. This is the hotel that I built. And it kind of sucks because I was giving a few tips on decorating the outside, especially with breaking up the plain like wall by adding some texture with these different blocks here. Same thing with the vines, the leaves, and everything like that. I did get the full interior done, which makes me even more upset because I, 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 I built this and I was trying to show you guys everything that I was doing, but unfortunately, files get corrupted and it happens. But yeah, this is the hotel. The first floor was more of a lobby. This is where most of the beds are. We do also have two more beds up here. And then out here, we also have a loft that I'm thinking about putting a fireplace in eventually. And if we were to come out here, go down a little bit further, you may notice this. This is actually going to be a bakery. As you see, we have a few chests here. We have a nice little service table. We have a few smokers where the baker will bake all of their bakeries. And then coming out here, as you can see, we extended the path. We have a bridge going across the river, so we no longer have to make our horses swim. And then, as you can see, this path goes on quite a bit. This path is actually part of what we're going to be working on today, and it's supposed to go all the way down to the skeleton farm, and then maybe later on in the future, I will branch it off going towards Jason and BMO's house. Lastly, for the update, I have one more thing to show you guys, and it has to do with the farm. Now, Yassine actually has been working on this farm quite a bit, and as you can see, it's getting a bit laggy as we're approaching it here, and that's for a good reason. We have a whole bunch more animals. As you can see, we have pigs in here now. We also have a lot more chickens, and it's actually the chickens here that's making it lag over here. We have way too many chickens. We get way too many eggs that we don't even know what to do with. And also, you've seen worked on the cow pen here. And one thing that this man did is he actually worked on the potato farm. So we got all of the potatoes back that my friend did not replant last time. But don't worry, I chewed him out for that, like I said I would in the world tour video. So the plans for this video today is I want to work on the mining area a little bit more, and then we're also going to be finishing up the path that goes all the way to the skeleton farm. So we're going to start that off by getting my mule here. Unfortunately, guys, we ran into an unexpected sequence of the video, and that is I can't seem to find my mule. I've looked all around the city, all the way down this path towards the skeleton farm. I obviously looked in where we keep the horses and stuff, and he disappeared. Like, he's gone. I can't find him. But the good news is we still have a donkey, and that donkey has chests on him so we can haul more stuff. But other than that, the first thing that we're going to do is finish this path. Now, I have a cool idea for once we get out of the desert portion of the path and going on into the acacia biome. As we near the end of this path, as you can see, we're getting close to the acacia biome here. And what I have in my inventory here is a whole bunch of andesite. We got some cobblestone and some gravel, as well as some cobblestone walls, and that is going to be used for the path along here. Unfortunately, I don't have enough sand or sandstone to finish off this little bit here, but we will get to that before the end of the video. But for now, we are actually going to be working on and planning out the way that this path is going to go along, and I actually have an idea here, and that is to add like a little campsite right over here next to these little hills, just to add some more life and some immersion into the path as we're going along towards the skeleton farm. And speaking of the skeleton farm, one thing I did not show you guys is what I did. As you can see, as we're coming up, you may notice a little bit of some renovation here. Now, if we were to approach this, you may notice that we got some coarse dirt, some gravel, going into what seems to be an abandoned graveyard. I thought it would be cool to have the above ground part be an abandoned graveyard, because after all, it is a skeleton farm, so I just thought it would be cool to kind of continue on with the theme of skeletons or quote unquote dead people. So my theme is with this path is to keep it 3 blocks wide. That makes it pretty easy for people as well as horses to travel along it without running into these posts that I have going along here. And as we get started here, I'm just going to dig out what would be where the sand portion is, and eventually we're going to get on over here into the savanna. So an idea that I have here is to actually blend in the path to transition from the desert into the savanna, and I'll show you guys how I'm doing that here in a second, but first I'm going to build up the savanna portion of this path, and then you guys see what I mean. So this right here is the path design that I have planned out for the savanna portion of this, and I will add some more detail to it, like I'm going to add some buttons to make it look like rocks and pebbles along the road. But for the transition idea, I'm just gonna scatter a few of these blocks kind of coming towards the desert here, and then once we get the sandstone coming in, it'll look like a nice and even transition. What I'm actually gonna do here is remove some of these to have the sand kind of transitioning into this path as well. So as you can see here, I decided to collect up some sandstone so we can finish off the transition within the path, and I actually really like it. I may change up these 3 blocks here as I don't really like how kind of far out they are. I may put them in a little bit closer to where the path actually starts here, and then we'll just continue on from here just by digging out the 3 wide path going all the way through and around this hill, and then I'll give you guys an update when I get there. Coming to think about it, guys, I've actually had a change in mind of what I'm going to do for this video. Instead of working on the path and the mining area, we're actually just going to work on the path and the little campsite area right over there by that hill right there. So I hope you guys don't mind having to wait to finish the mining area with me, but I think that this camp area will be completely worth it. So here is an update of the path and how it's going. I actually am really liking how this is turning out. We got some grass growing in on the sides to kind of break it up a little bit. We have a whole bunch of gravel, dirt, and andesite to kind of texture it up a little bit. And if there's anything that I can give you guys a tip about, and it would 100% be about texturing. You can see it in all of my builds, including the path here, and especially with this path over here, because it's supposed to look kind of like old, kind of beaten up, you know, used a lot, and that's where all of these different types of blocks come in. Now we're actually going to end the path off right here, and we're going to start working on the campsite. I have a little plan of action here. What I really want to do is I could maybe add a little pond here, add a few tents, like maybe like 1 or 2 tents over here, obviously a few campfires. I could add a little log station here to make it look like these guys are kind of trying to start their own little village, and then I'll give you guys my step by step as I do it. As you can see, guys, I just grabbed a whole bunch of stuff, and please excuse me for my inventory being a complete mess, but we got some logs, some signs, some crafting tables, some buckets of water, some lanterns, some rails, a whole plethora of stuff that I'm going to use for this build. And the first thing that I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to build a little log holder, if you were to call it that, right here. And then right here, this is where I'm going to make a little pond, and then over here I'm gonna build probably like 3, maybe 4 little huts, and I'll give you guys updates as I'm going along. So this is the log design that I'm going along with. It's pretty common, it's used in a lot of different builds in different worlds. It's where you just place a bunch of logs like this and have rails going along it to make it look like the rails are holding it down securely, and just like that, it is all nice and complete. So I'm actually going to start working on the little pond here. It's not going to be too big, it's not going to be too crazy, but I do have some leaves, some saplings, some sugarcane and stuff like that to add along it and kind of detail it up, give it some more life and stuff like that. So as I go along with it, I will give you guys updates and my thought process with it. So this is the design that I have for the pond right now. It's nice and small. I decided to add some gravel, some sand along the edges of it to kind of texture it up a bit. And now I'm going to add a quick little tree right here. If I can go find my bone meal. And just like that, we have a nice little tree. So now I am going to add, oh my god, I need to clear my inventory out, but I'm going to be adding some sugar cane, some leaves. I may go get some cobblestone, add a little, a few rock piles along, but I also don't want to over texture it and make it kind of look like, what is this even supposed to be? So this is what I had in mind. I have a few sugarcane placed around. We have some leaves here to act as bushes, and overall just kind of make the place a little bit more lively, a little bit more spice added to it. And then now from here we're going to work on the actual tent huts. And instead of going with a classic tent design, I have an idea in mind that hopefully will work out well. You guys will see as I do it. I'll give my thoughts on it and kind of try to explain what I'm doing exactly. But first we need to go back to the village and sleep. So here are the three outlines of the little huts that I'm going to be making. They're all literally the same exact thing. I just thought it would be nice to have kind of duplicating styles here for this specific build. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a path going along through here, kind of curving. I really like curving paths. If you guys couldn't tell with the city, it just kind of adds an adventurous feel to it. I mentioned that within the first video of this series. So my plan for this is to actually only build this up too high, and I'll show you guys the reason why in a second. So this is the design I had in mind. I'm actually going to be adding a few slabs along the roof, kind of just to, I don't know, make it look not so blocky. I know it's Minecraft, but still, I just kind of want to add some texture and some variation within these builds here. So I'm gonna get going on that, and I'll finish these other two and I'll show you guys what I mean in a second. So here is the design of these little huts that I'm going for. The reason why I use slabs and stairs is because I kind of wanted to make the roof look uneven or kind of just roughly put together, because it is a small little poor kind of campsite, I guess. It's not really supposed to be big and structured and made like nicely. Kind of also added it to make it look like a little bit weathered down as it rains. It kind of weighs down on the wood, and that's what the whole look is for. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to strip some of these bug woods here. And what stripping the bug does, it adds some texture, some uniqueness to each build. Same thing with the roof, the kind of randomized roof builds that I went with here. Just add some uniqueness between each build since they are the same exact shape and height. It just adds some uniqueness instead of having 3 carbon copies of the same thing. I also went ahead and added some paths here, and if I can get my bone meal, I will bone meal it, add some more life going on here, especially since this is a quote-unquote logging little village hut camp area here, and I actually ran out of bone meal, so I can't grow up the second tree, but it'll grow up by itself. And also I need to chew out whoever is just leaving these floating trees. Like, it really is not that hard just to get a few dirt blocks and build up to finish removing the rest of the tree, because those floating up there are kind of ugly, and I'm sure all of you guys can agree with that. And I wish I had some more bone meal on me so I can bone meal around the pond here, make it a little bit more lively. But now what we are going to do is we're actually going to be working on the inside and adding some little lampposts as well as these campfires here. So for these campfires, I'm thinking since we have 3 houses and 3 campfires, I'm just going to put a little campfire right outside of each house. just to make it look like each person who's living here has their own little campfire to work off of. And now it is time to go along each house, add some decorations, and I'm also gonna take these hay bales. I'll probably throw them right here, and then maybe these other two I can just slap right there, just to add a little bit more life, make it seem more like a functioning little campsite here. And then with these slabs, I'm gonna go in and give each little house their own table, and eventually we'll get some chests and some beds in here too. And just like that, our little campsite here is done. Each hut has a crafting table, a single chest, a bed, and that goes for every single little hut here, as you can see. And one last thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to add some lanterns in here, just so no mobs will spawn inside the actual little huts here. And then hopefully with my friends who play on this world, as they go to the skeleton farm, if they ever need to sleep on the way there, on the way back, and if they don't have a bed on them, they can just run on into here and take a quick nap just to sleep through the night. And there you go, guys. As the sun is setting, that will be it for today's video. I really like how this little campsite turned out. I really like adding little things like these across the world just to add some more immersion, something to look out for when you're traveling along paths like these. It's just really nice to have, and I really like it, and I really enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy it too. I hope you guys like some of the tips I threw in this video, and that is all it for today. Please like, subscribe, maybe comment too if you enjoyed what you saw today, and I will see you guys next time.